In many ways, the adventure we've concocted is a reckoning between an old school hero like Indiana Jones and a very modern world. And what is that like? That's interesting to me. Does he have one last adventure in him? Does he have the courage to face it again?
Indy's back.
Harrison came in and did his early costume fittings in the original outfits.
It's a short story. It fit.
You're like, oh yeah, it's so Indy. It's such an amazingly iconic costume. Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones stepping onto the set. You know, everyone remembers that.
It was unbelievable. There we were standing around and suddenly there's Indy.
Walking out in the fedora and the leather jacket and the whip. I mean, there's no one who looks better in a hat than Harrison.
Morocco's a pretty cool place to be. It's the gateway from Europe to the Middle East and Africa.
Fez is one of the most beautiful cities in the world. It doesn't feel like something you've seen time and again.
We get such valuable environments, and I think it's a huge asset.
I've never worked on anything of this kind of scale before, and to be in the real places, it's beautiful. It's got a whole other different palette and energy. And also the 1960s element here is really gorgeous.
An essential element of an Indiana Jones film is that we see the world. It's inspiring us about how much there is to find under our own roof on this planet.
We weren't originally going to shoot here. We had scouted Rajasthan, Jaisalmer, India, and then because of the difficulties of working during COVID, we weren't able to go there. Morocco turned into a really good choice.
It's Tangier in the story, but we ended up shooting in Fez, Morocco.
There are a few pieces that we're looking for here. The biggest one is really for the second unit, a huge chase sequence. And then we came here and sort of implanted into that unit to get when Indy first lands in Morocco and enters the hotel. We cut back to the stage at Pinewood. We had the whole sequence for the auction inside the hotel.
That set is stunning. It really felt like we'd gone back to Morocco. This was the first time Helena has her own stage, and she has the players around her stage. She's auctioning this thing, she's in her flow.
How about 90?
And Indy coming into that absolutely screws everything up for her, which is deeply frustrating. This auction is private.
This auction's over.
Who is this man?
Chaos ensues.
So this space is designed for that, to give a lot of opportunities. The starting point for that was the nightclub sequence at the beginning of the second film, how beautiful that sequence was.
Harrison can play with your expectations of an action hero and undermine it, defeat the tropes, the kind of macho tropes. He finds more delight as an actor failing than succeeding.
I think it's very important to maintain a human scale to action. Too much of something is too much. So I think when you're able to keep it to a physical reality with some embellishments, that feels real and more visceral for the audience.
In the middle of that, boom!
Now it's kind of expected that the stunt department shoot a stunt viz of the sequence that's shot, edited, presented as almost a short film. We'll recreate the set, build it out of cardboard boxes, and then we'll shoot it in there and block it, cut it, add After Effects, add sound effects, add music to it, and then we would present it to Jim and he'll give some notes, and then you'll get to the final iteration of what we do on the day.
I think it was a great job. Today's a dream. Our goal was to do as much as we could for real. Almost all the human action in the movie is for real.
Teddy and Helena, they meet with him trying to rob her, and they both are holding onto her bag, and they've had to agree to either both lose or both win. And I think that sums them up perfectly.
We actually made the decision, right, let's start casting in multiple countries.
The requirements changed because the location changed. Suddenly, we were looking for a French Moroccan young man.
You read a character like that on a page and you think there's never going to be a human being that can capture this. And then Ethan turns up.
My name is Ethan Isidore, and I play Teddy.
Jim did a Zoom call with Ethan.
Some days after, the director wanted to see me in England, in London.
He's kind of beyond his years.
I told James Mangold that I love Logan.
He's charming and he's cheeky, and that always comes across naturally.
And we received a call telling us that I was in Indiana Jones 5.
Ethan is a miracle of a human being.
I love to shoot with Phoebe and Harrison because they are making jokes all the time. We have a special handshake. We're like besties.
He's absolutely fantastic, this kid. He's never acted before professionally, and he's stunning on screen.
I think it makes the film charming and fun to have a young person in. And Indy being foiled and frustrated by them, that's part of the charm of the series.
Did you know the Wright brothers? I thought maybe you wanted to school with them.
Oh, come on, Indy. That was funny.
Funny. The minute Harrison and Phoebe were together, it was unbelievable. The characters came to life even better than anybody had imagined.
When Phoebe and Harrison and I worked on their dialogue and planning the action sequences, something magic happened. The wordplay and physicality depended upon each of them playing off each other.
You just got me killed!
Well, I'm not the one that's engaged, so monster!
It's especially fun for me because there's a dramatic side to it that's got to be real, and then there's these grace notes of humor that she's particularly adept at inventing or supporting.
And so much fun. I think the irreverence makes it even more fun to play with, and they're both driven by their own agendas here, but forced down the same alleys.
We've been prepping 11 locations out here in Morocco. We had this indoor wet market, which looked brilliant as it was, and then we just came and redressed it with all our dressing.
Hold on, kid!
The tuk-tuk chase is one of the standout action set pieces in the movie, as Indiana Jones should have. We've been talking about this since the very beginning.
Working also with Dan Bradley, who's our director on the second unit, who's one of the most experienced action directors in the world. What he's bringing to it with Ben Cook, our stunt coordinator, and they're really pushing the envelope.
The old part where the Medina is considered a UNESCO cultural heritage. It's one of the best and the oldest Medina in the world.
We spent weeks in Morocco with these revved up tuk-tuks, smashing down the streets of Fez. It was grueling. Second unit, stunt team, and ourselves, we're all there working at the same time.
The last couple of weeks have been pretty fun in Morocco. I had the pleasure of driving Harrison Ford's tuk-tuk. It's been a real treat doubling Harrison on this one. I would catch myself just walking and I would look at my shadow and see the hat and the whip and I would just absolutely giggle inside. The tuk-tuk sequence, it's very Indiana Jonesy. We got 4 motorcycles and a Jag and a Mercedes all hot on my tail. You would never be able to recreate what they have in Morocco with the streets being so old and weird shapes. They literally found the skinniest alleyways where the tuk-tuk would only fit down and not much else. Driving it feels a lot like a quad and then unstable, so basically it's a triangle, so it wants to fall over all the time.
The tuk-tuk chase is so much fun. It's got so much energy and it's so goofy in lots of ways. One of the things they really worked hard on was giving different vehicles different characters. The tuk-tuk definitely sounds janky and super underpowered. Like, you can't imagine running from anybody in this.
That is very funny.
You can't even imagine driving it to the supermarket, let alone having this crazy chase. So it is struggling the whole time.
We had a tuk-tuk for every role, depending on what they needed. It must have been about 10, 12, 14 of these tuk-tuks. I remember when we actually stood at the top of these steps in Morocco. It literally was just like a waterfall. It just dropped off. And I was thinking, how was anything going to survive that journey?
They're really steep, really short. It was rough all the way down. It was just a hairy ride, ending with a super steep drop-off, which would definitely take out everybody if everyone didn't do their job.
3, 2, 1, action!
My POV of going over the edge was something else. I hope you can feel that it's really steep.
It's a huge undertaking. We're incredibly fortunate to be working here in Morocco. Morocco has incredible support, so it's been a real gift.
Thank you so much, Morocco.
I've had a ball. We've been really welcomed here. It's been great.
It's been fun. It's been really nice.
I've learned so much from you. Thank you so much.